Oh, it certainly doesn't get any easier. It feels like it was just yesterday.
Kelly Walton and her daughters are marking a grim milestone. The 8th anniversary of the death of their partner and father, Stjepan Rick Milosevic, who was killed while serving in Afghanistan.
Father's Day always follows the next weekend, the weekend after, so yeah, it's hard.
What's making this anniversary even harder is that the man jailed for his murder, a rogue former Afghan army soldier named Hekmatullah, could be about to walk free.
If he is released, then it undermines the whole reason why we went to Afghanistan.
Pedal and turn. Rick was a family man who loved the outdoors.
Keep going. That's it. Don't stop.
He joined the army late at the age of 36, quickly reaching the rank of Lance Corporal.
I remember him saying to me, I want to do something that the girls can be proud of.
Rick was stationed with soldiers from the 3 RAR task group training Afghan National Army soldiers in Uruzgan province in August 2012. The soldiers were unwinding inside their base, playing cards and a board game when the insider attack began. Afghan Sergeant Hekmatullah suddenly opened fire a total of 26 rounds before making his escape. Rick was killed, along with 21-year-old sapper James Martin and 23-year-old private Robert Pote.
It was a premeditated, cold-blooded murder, purely and simply, and cowardly at that.
Hekmatullah was later captured and has been held ever since in an Afghan prison. But now he could walk free under the terms of a peace deal negotiated by the US government.
The impact, it's just hit us like a lead balloon.
In February, President Trump signed a peace agreement with the Taliban after 19 years of conflict. Under the deal, the Afghan government needs to release up to 5,000 Taliban prisoners, and most have already been set free.
If this prisoner exchange happens, 5,000 Taliban prisoners for 1,000 Afghan security forces, then that'll be the precursor to start talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban, and the signal for the US to be able to draw down its troop contribution.
James Brown served with Australian Special Forces in the conflict. With further prisoner releases imminent, he believes Scott Morrison could request the President stop Hekmatullah's release.
Well, the Trump wildcard factor could play both ways. This could catch his attention and he could block it, or this could catch his attention and he could demand that it happen. It really comes down to whether our Prime Minister is willing to make the call.
While the Morrison government has been lobbying the US administration and the Afghan government, the Australian Army has met with the soldiers' families, but they claim they've received little meaningful communication.
It's as though we're persona non grata, we just don't exist.
This week, a Taliban spokesperson was quoted warning the Australian government against interfering and insisting they are serious about the prisoners being released.
I would like someone to pick up the phone and assure me that they are not going to let this happen.
The Australian government has confirmed to 7:30 that Hekmatullah is still behind bars. In response to questions about whether he would be released, a spokesman for Afghanistan's government said, "There won't be any release without the consent of the Australian government and victims' families."
Well, if the Australian government has a card it can play with the Afghan government to block Hekmatullah's release, it should do that.
I do think there is a real prospect that lobbying may be unsuccessful. So in that respect, yes, I think the families may end up being incredibly disappointed by the release of Hekmatullah.
The families are preparing for the worst and considering a referral to the International Criminal Court if he's released.
if Hekmatullah does walk free, that we can potentially have him face charges in the ICC.
While Hekmatullah's offences would likely constitute war crimes, they may not meet the high threshold required, according to Dr. Carrie McDougall.
The ICC was conceived of as a court of last resort, and in many ways its jurisdiction has been narrowed to focus on the most serious international crimes.
Okay, sorry, I will do that.
It's a nervous wait for Kelly Walton to find out Hekmatullah's fate. The uncertainty about whether he will be released is weighing on her.
It would just be so incredibly disappointing to think that, not just that Rick would have been killed for nothing, but the big picture is that the whole thing was for nothing. And that's, devastating.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.